Hey, what's up? It's Julie. I'm a former lawyer, top law student and lecturer in communication studies. And today we're going to talk about murder and manslaughter in New Zealand criminal law. To prove both murder and manslaughter in New Zealand, the situation needs to come under first the test in section 158 of the Crimes Act, and that's whether it meets the definition of homicide. So homicide is defined as the killing of one human being by another human being, directly or indirectly, by any means whatsoever. This is where your causation issues will come into play. So you need to prove in a situation that someone killed another person, and directly is an obvious one. So if someone directly is responsible for killing someone else, that will easily fit in. A causation issue might come into play with the word indirectly. For example, if a mother does not directly help her child who has been abused by another family member, and if she would have helped that child, then maybe the situation would have been different, and if the child died, maybe the child wouldn't have died if she would have helped. So in that situation, the mother might indirectly be responsible for causing the child's death through failing to act. I'm talking about a case at the moment, it's from the Crown and Kuka. So that actually happened, and the woman was responsible for indirectly causing the death of her child. So that met the definition of homicide and eventually manslaughter, but we'll come to that. If the situation meets the definition of homicide, step 2 is whether it is culpable homicide. So to decide whether it's culpable homicide, you need to go to 160 subsection 2 of the Crimes Act. And in this section it lists all the different ways that you are culpable for homicide. So what this means is someone has died, someone has killed someone else by some means whatsoever, and now you're trying to decide if the person who killed has some form of criminal responsibility, if they've done something wrong. So for example, if I am just minding my own business and walking around and somehow I trip up and fall onto someone else, and then they accidentally trip over and fall into a bus and die. It's like a bit of a Regina George situation. So technically I would meet the definition of homicide, that situation would, because I directly caused someone else to die. But if I don't come under any of the elements in subsection 2 of section 160, then I'm not culpable for that death. So I'm not morally responsible. So in that situation, I would say that's an accident. So I wouldn't come under any of the criteria in 160 subsection 2. So the test so far is, did someone kill someone else? And did someone kill someone else in a way that makes them criminally responsible for that? So once you've got 1 and 2, then you can start looking at what type of crime the person could be responsible for. So basically you need 1 and 2 fulfilled before you can prove murder, manslaughter, or infanticide, which is another one. So let's say we have a situation where yes, homicide, the definition is met, and yes, the person is culpable. So they meet both 158 and 160 subsection 2. Then you move to step 3, which is the situation murder? So to decide whether it is murder or not, you need to look at sections 167 and 168 of the Crimes Act. So these sections define murder. And if you go through the sections carefully, you'll see there are quite a few different actus reus and mens rea elements that can make up murder. So for example, there's the obvious, you had the intention, so the mens rea of intention, to kill someone else and someone else has died. So you've done the killing of that action and the circumstance of death has ensued. There are situations defined in the Crimes Act which make recklessness the mens rea standard for murder. Okay, let's go back to start. 1, homicide definition is met. 2, it's culpable homicide. 3, was it murder? If it wasn't murder, you've got to go to step 4, which is actually, was it infanticide? Infanticide is in 178. It's of the Crimes Act. It's a bit of an obscure one. It's about a mother killing her child. I think the historic roots of this come from mums having bad mental health after childbirth and after raising young children. That'll be an uncommon one, but that's just in there. And step 5 is, if it's not murder, it's not infanticide, is it manslaughter? So to decide whether it's manslaughter, you've got to go to 171 of the Crimes Act. And the definition of manslaughter is very basic. It's culpable homicide that is not murder or infanticide. So basically, if someone meets 158 and 160 subsection 2, and they don't meet murder or infanticide, it's manslaughter. So that means they have killed someone, they are culpable, but it just doesn't amount to one of those other crimes. So that's basically how you come to whether something is murder or infanticide or manslaughter in a nutshell. There's also section 180 of the Crimes Act to look out for, and that's if something is a suicide pact, then it's manslaughter as well. So to come back and just sum everything up, that was just a very basic overview, but we've got step 1 is the definition of homicide met. Did someone kill someone else by any means whatsoever? And can you prove the causation there? Step 2, is it culpable homicide? Are they responsible because they meet one of the definitions in 160 subsection 2? Step 3, is it murder? So you've got to go through section 167 and 168 and lay out all the actus reus and mens rea elements and see if your situation fits into one of those definitions. And then the next step is step 4, and that's if it wasn't murder, but it is killing, homicide, that is culpable. Is it infanticide? And if it's not, then is it manslaughter? So is it homicide that's culpable and it doesn't not meet one of the definitions in the other crimes? Subscribe if you like these videos. I'll be making some more on lots of different topics, and let me know in the comments what types of law videos you'd like to see. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.